Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived an old man named Mr. Henry. He was a kind and gentle soul with a long white beard that reached down to his chest. Everyone in the village loved and respected him for his wisdom and compassion. Mr. Henry had seen many seasons come and go, and he had a treasure trove of stories from his long and adventurous life. He would often sit under the shade of a big oak tree in the village square and share his tales with the children who gathered around him, their eyes wide with wonder. One sunny afternoon, a group of curious children gathered around Mr. Henry, eager to hear a new story. He smiled at them warmly and began his tale. "Once, when I was a young man, I set out on a grand adventure," he said, his eyes twinkling with nostalgia. "I traveled far and wide, exploring the world and meeting new people. Along the way, I learned valuable lessons about life and love." The children listened intently as Mr. Henry spoke about his travels. He told them about the vast oceans he sailed, the towering mountains he climbed, and the dense forests he wandered through. With every word, he painted vivid pictures in their minds, transporting them to distant lands. As the sun began to set, the children begged Mr. Henry to tell them more stories, but he chuckled softly and said, "My dear children, it's time for me to rest. But fear not, for I will be here tomorrow to share more tales with you." And just as he promised, Mr. Henry returned the next day, and the day after that, and every day after that. The children eagerly awaited his stories, and they began to learn valuable lessons from the adventures he shared. One day, as the children listened to Mr. Henry, they noticed a sad look in his eyes. "What troubles you, dear Mr. Henry?" one of the children asked gently. Mr. Henry smiled, touched by their concern. "Oh, it's nothing to worry about, my young friends. I am just reminiscing about my youth and the loved ones I have lost along the way." The children understood the bittersweet nature of memories and gathered around him, offering their company and friendship. From that day on, they made it a point to visit Mr. Henry regularly, not just to hear his stories, but also to keep him company and bring him joy. As time passed, the children grew older, and Mr. Henry's stories continued to inspire and enlighten them. He cherished the bond he had formed with them, grateful for the love and companionship they shared. And so, in that little village, the old man and the children found solace and joy in each other's presence. Mr. Henry's stories lived on in their hearts, and the lessons he imparted would forever guide them on their own journeys through life. In the end, it was not just a story about an old man and his adventures. It was a tale of friendship, love, and the timeless connection between generations. And so, the legacy of Mr. Henry, the wise old man with the long white beard, lived on in the hearts of the villagers, carried forward through the generations to come.